Hi, and welcome to the Passports and Visas YouTube channel. Today we're going to discuss renewing a U.S. passport. The first step of applying for a U.S. passport renewal is first of all to determine if you're eligible. So the first thing is your current passport that you have, make sure that you have it in your possession. And then also need to make sure that you got it when you're an adult. That means that you received the passport when you were at least 16 years of age or older. The next step is the passport itself, making sure that it was issued within the past 15 years. That means that once your passport's expired, you have 5 years to renew the passport. The third thing is to ensure that the passport is not damaged. If a dog has eaten it, or you put it in a dryer, or what have you, then it's probably damaged and not eligible to be renewed. If you meet all these criteria, then you're eligible to renew it. If not, you're going to need to go through the more tedious process of applying for a new passport, which we'll discuss in another video. The next step is determining when you should renew your passport. Okay, now that you know that you're eligible to renew a passport, the next step is to go through the 4 items that you're going to need. First item is going to be the passport renewal application, otherwise known as a DS-82. You can find this on a number of different websites, including the travel.state.gov website. Complete that form and sign it. And then the second thing you're going to need is passport photos. Third thing you're going to need is the passport itself that is due to be renewed. And then the fourth thing will be the fees associated to renewing your passport. Okay, the first thing we're going to need to do is go through the State Department's website on renewing a passport to fill out the DS-82 form. So let me guide you through this here. So on the site here, if you click on U.S. passports and click on that you already have a passport, if you come down here to renew your passport, and then if you go down here to fill out a DS-82. So right here you'll have 2 choices. So on this page here, you can create a form on the fly here with form filler, or you can just go here and click on the PDF and create the DS-82 there. So I'll go ahead and do this. And you'll notice that there's 6 pages to the DS-82 form. There are really only 2 pages to the application itself. So we'll go through this application a little bit. So it's going to ask you some basic information such as your name, your date of birth, place of birth, social security number, email address, contact information, mailing address, etc. Then it's down here, it's going to ask you about passport book information, that the current passport that you have, and then ensure that you sign the application and date it down here. And then on the second page, it asks you further information regarding the name of the applicant, your height, eye color, occupation, etc. So, once you've completed your DS-82 passport renewal application, the next step is passport photos in order to get your own passport. So you'll need to go to a CVS or a Walgreens or a Duane Reade, some sort of drugstore that's close to you. They can go ahead and professionally take passport photos for you. They'll typically end up with something like this. That's a little booklet, if you will, that has a passport inside, passport photos inside. They'll cut them in 2x2 size for you. Need to be on a white background. And another thing to note is passport eyeglasses are not allowed for passports. So if you wear eyeglasses, you have to remove them prior to taking the photo. But once you have your passport photos done and you receive something like this, you're ready for step 3. So step 3 is once you have your DS-82 passport renewal application and your passport photos, you'll simply just need to put your hands on your passport itself. So as mentioned earlier, the passport can't be damaged, has to be issued within the past 15 years, and has to have been a passport that was issued when you were an adult, which is typically a 10-year passport. So the next step is your passport fees themselves. So that is payable in the form of a check or money order paid out to the U.S. Department of State. And ensure that the check, if it's a check, has your name and date of birth on it. If it's a money order, you also need to put your name and date of birth on it so they can identify who paid. So in terms of the amount, right now, a typical passport renewal costs $110, and that will get your passport back to you in 8 to 10 weeks. If you'd like to pay an expedite fee to the U.S. Department of State, you can pay an additional $60 fee, so that makes the check itself $170. So again, the fee structure is to the U.S. Department of State, payable via a check or money order, $110 if you're looking for routine services, $170 if you're using the services to expedite. So the next step would be gathering these documents together. Again, the documents are the application, your passport, passport photos, and then the check to the U.S. Department of State. So gather those things off, and on the bottom of the DS-82 is an address in Philadelphia to send these documents off to. If you're using a private expediting company like us, passportsandvisas.com, there's typically 2 additional requirements. So you'll need a letter of authorization authorizing a company to hand carry your application into a passport agency, and then you also need a proof of departure, proof that you are traveling and need the passport quickly. So we'll discuss those in a separate video, but just so you know, if you're utilizing us as a private courier service, there'll be an additional 2 items that are required to renew your passport. So again, the documents that are required are your passport, passport application, passport photos, check to the U.S. Department of State, and then you would send that off to the Department of State if you're using routine services. If you're using a private expediting company that can get a passport in an expedited manner for you by hand carrying the application, then there's 2 additional documents that are required, a letter of authorization as well as an itinerary. So that concludes this video on renewing a U.S. passport. If you liked this video, then we would appreciate if you'd like the video on YouTube here. And if you'd like to look at more content like this, if you could subscribe to our channel, we would really appreciate it. Thank you again for your time.